I want you to start leaning into the chaos. I want you to start flirting with all those habits and behaviors that you think you shouldn't be doing. When you start to enter the path, the spiritual journey, however that may be, I hesitate to use the word spiritual journey, but some process that you feel like you're working through at this minute in time, it usually opens up the doors to all the things that we feel like that we shouldn't be doing, that aren't aligned with who we are becoming, who we're evolving into, even though it's all in the here and now, right now. We have these old, say, survival patterns that are still playing out within our nervous system. We can end up going into this, like, this intense energy field of shame, of all the things that we think we shouldn't be doing. So I wanted to touch on this because I feel that this was such a big part of my process as well, of like how just kind of becoming more conscious, becoming more awake, becoming more aware of my own behavior. And it came with so much shame, because whereas previously I was just unaware. I was just like fumbling around in the dark, just doing what I was doing. But then the challenge of waking up with like having light shone on within our consciousness, it makes us realize of all the darkness that's going on. It's like this really weird paradox dichotomy of like, oh God, okay, it's okay, I'm waking up a bit now. Like, what does that mean? And then it's like, oh my God, I'm waking up, and it's like, fuck, turn it. There's all this stuff over here. You know what I'm saying? And you're still working through these habits and behaviors. I use this analogy a lot, and it's very much like survival pattern behaviors are very similar, and you can reflect on this analogy that when a ship cuts off its engines, it still takes a couple of miles before the ship actually stops. And it's exactly the same with energetic momentum. And we inherit energetic patterns going on within our nervous system. We come in, we've inherited all this stuff. Then at whatever age we start to become increasingly aware of our patterns that are going on within us. And then we have to feel like we have to consciously work through them, even though that's a load of BS as well, because it's just an autonomous process that's happening anyway. But we convince ourselves that we're doing it. You know what I'm saying? But well, my friends, we're not doing it. It is just happening. But we can end up applying a lot more and more resistance to what is happening within our path, within our habits, within those patterns, because of how much shame we feel, how we feel like we shouldn't be doing this. That's why I wanted to talk about whatever you're working with specifically at the minute. And this is so nuanced. Everyone has their thing. I did a video on this the other week about everyone has their one thing. We go into this path, we have all these patterns that are still playing out from the survival paradigm that feel destructive. They don't feel aligned, but we still keep getting pulled back to it. And the reason why that cycle keeps happening is because of the shame that we feel. We feel like we shouldn't be doing it, and we apply more of resistance gets encompassed around it. So now we're becoming more awake. We're becoming more conscious of this. It's about seeing what's happening, but then instead of trying to run away from it, leaning into it, leaning into the chaos just a little bit, whatever that may be. One of my most influential teachers said, if you're anxious, be more anxious. When I first heard that, I was like, damn, what is this? What are you on about? But then on reflection of my own journey, there is a close link between destruction and liberation. And I've lent into, unconsciously and consciously, I've driven things to their absolute extreme. Whether that's with drugs, alcohol, smoking, all the vices you can think of, pornography, masturbate, all that masturbation, all of it. Like it's just unbelievable the destruction that's come from going into those kind of vices, those patterns, those from that survival patternage that is expressed in this feeling, this thinking, this being, the beliefs, the actions, the habits, behaviors. But because I've always gone into the extreme of it, there's always been a turning point, a crutch. There's been like a snap, like a straw on the camel's back. And it's always like there's always been a propelled up to a state of inner liberation, which has then been expressed into habits, behaviors, thinkings, feelings, which are more aligned with who I am becoming. So it's about flirting with your different degrees of destruction, dissolving the shame around it. It's even if you're just in a position where you're like, I'm just going to allow this to happen. I know it's coming. I know I'm doing it. This is happening. This is happening right now. I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not going to shame it. No, I'm not going to shame and condemn myself. I'm just going to allow this to happen. And then maybe just like, I'm going to do a little bit more. Just flirt with that. It's very the game of devil's advocate. It's just consciously moving into whatever degree of chaos which is happening within you now. And that's why sometimes I don't feel like I resonate with when I hear people talk about it's time to slow down, it's time to rest, it's time to stop. Because if our nervous system's in a state of intense survival activation, that like it's just not possible to rest. Like it's not a potentiality at that moment in time. In that certain state, it's not a potentiality. And it's when we're in that state, instead of trying to kind of like frantically bring ourselves back down, but just to kind of like elevate a little bit more, maybe just to kind of like maybe consciously create a little bit more destruction. As agonizing as it is for me to say that. But when I've been in those elements of intense destruction, and they come in varying degrees, and it doesn't have to be this like bombastic moment, it can be just like small degrees of like control chaos where you can be like, I'm just going to do this a little bit more, I'm going to feed this a little bit more. And then you'll see what will happen from that. The method to the madness is that everything that is running our habits, behaviors, thoughts, actions, words, it has an energy behind it. And once we start to lean into it a little bit more, we start to kind of work that energy out of our system, out of our nervous system. Those patterns that have probably been around for way beyond this lifetime. We're talking lineage stuff that's going on. You know, we've got this inheritance of survival patterning that we're working through. And when you look at the fuller context of what we are working through, it's like fucking hell. Like, let's just allow this to happen. Like, do you know what I mean? Let's try to stop it. We got like lifetimes of stuff meeting us in the here and now. Like, it's just kind of fueling our stuff that we don't feel like we want to be doing. If it doesn't, and it's cool, man. It's like it's what makes it tough is because it just doesn't feel aligned with who we want to become. Who we want to align with. Like, we want those habits that are nurturing for us. We want those aligned feelings, thoughts, beliefs that are going to propel us and ascend us further. But what is that thought? Oh my God, are we going to go back down? But we can, we can just a little bit, because that will create a springboard to go us further up. So whatever you're working through now, just bring whatever love and forgiveness you can, a state of acceptance, a state of allowance. That's where the energy and frequency of acceptance is really, really powerful, because whatever habit it is that you're working through, just to accept it. This is what's up right now. You know, this is happening right now, and I'm not going to shame myself. Just going to allow it. Just going to be with it. Let's just work this energy out in a loving, compassionate, forgiving way. So, my friends, flirt with the chaos, lean into it, lovingly lean into whatever you're trying to stop. Stop trying to stop stuff. Go into a state of acceptance and allowing, and just like, let's just kind of there, yeah, let's just allow the ship of this habit to come it to its natural conclusion. And natural conclusions happen through a state of no resistance and allowing. Sending you so much love, my friend, on your healing nervous system journey. So much love, my friends. Alex signing out, and I'll see you in the next video.